Have you ever found yourself, maybe late at night, just staring at the ceiling thinking, what if there's no work for me in the future?
Oh, yeah. That's a feeling. It hits home for a lot of freelancers.
Definitely. We actually stumbled upon this Reddit thread. An undergrad freelancer, even with years of experience, was voicing that exact fear, that kind of gnawing anxiety.
It's very real. That uncertainty, not having the traditional safety net can feel pretty isolating.
Right.
But our mission here in this deep dive is really to get past that anxiety. We want to explore practical stuff, the strategies you can use to feel more assured about your future in freelancing.
Exactly. And we've pulled together some, frankly, amazing insights for you. We're looking at real experiences from this online community, Buhai Digital on Reddit, totally raw, unfiltered stuff. Plus, strategic advice from Easy Staff. They're a global payment platform, so they really get the financial and legal side.
Yeah, they know the nuts and bolts.
And then there's this fantastic success story from Zapier about a freelancer who scaled up to like $10,000 a month. Zapier knows efficiency, so that's a great perspective too.
So the goal here is to really pull out the key nuggets from all these different places. We want to help you navigate this freelance world with, a bit more confidence. Turn that uncertainty into opportunity.
Okay, so let's unpack it.
Let's do it.
That initial fear we saw on Reddit, the job security thing, the lack of traditional fallbacks for freelancers, that's a common starting point, right?
Totally. But what came out really strongly in that discussion was something more universal.
Which is?
That there's really no absolute certainty in any job these days.
Right, not just freelancing.
Exactly. We saw it again and again. One person on Reddit, they'd been in startups for 7 years, got laid off once, saw 2 companies just fold.
Wow.
And even big corporate jobs, the ones people think are super stable, they face layoffs, closures. The whole idea of guaranteed job security is kind of fading, no matter how you're employed.
That's such a crucial point. It reframes the whole freelance anxiety, doesn't it?
It really does.
And freelancing itself, it operates within this thing we call the gig economy. How does Easy Staff define that?
They put it pretty clearly. It's basically an employment system where employers pay just for the results you deliver, usually under a short-term contract.
Okay.
So it's different from a traditional job where you get paid for your hours, not necessarily just the specific output.
Gotcha. Results-based.
Exactly. And what's really interesting, despite all the talk of uncertainty, is the growth, the number of freelancers. It's projected to hit like 90.1 million by 2028.
90 million. That's huge.
It is. It shows this isn't some small niche thing. It's a major growing way people are working worldwide. It's got resilience.
So, okay, if uncertainty is kind of baked into the modern work landscape, how do freelancers not just survive, but actually build a stable career?
Well, a massive theme that kept coming up, especially on Reddit, was this fundamental mindset shift.
Which is moving from thinking like an employee
to thinking like a business owner.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
This seems to be the absolute bedrock for long-term success and growth as a freelancer. There was this one Redditor, a college dropout actually, who built a 13-year career.
Wow.
Their key. Adopting that entrepreneurial mindset. They really hammered home, you are not an employee, your clients are not your boss.
So how does that, you work with them?
Exactly. You work with clients as a business partner.
Okay, I get the concept, but how does that actually change things day to day when you're negotiating or making project decisions?
It's incredibly empowering. When you see yourself as a business, it changes how you negotiate. You stand firmer on decisions that are right for your business.
Right, not just what the client wants.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And crucially, it positions you as an expert consultant. That brings huge value to the client.
Yeah.
And as we saw in that Zapier story, it lets you command higher rates.
Because you're not just asking for a raise.
No, you're setting your business's pricing based on the value you deliver. It's all about taking ownership. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if you're a business owner, the first thing you think about is stability, foundations, which leads us to the practical stuff, right? Building your own safety nets.
Absolutely. And pillar number 1, echoed everywhere, financial fortification.
Money, money, money.
You got it. The overwhelming advice is save, 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 build an emergency fund. A rainy day savings, totally separate from your regular personal savings.
Like seriously separate.
Dead serious. One Redditor mentioned building up a 1 million, I assume pesos, given the forum emergency fund.
Oh.
And the freedom that gave them They could turn down work they didn't want. Imagine that peace of mind.
That really does change the game. It's a different kind of security, isn't it?
It is. And beyond just saving, the next big piece of advice is diversification. Diversify your income.
Meaning, don't put all your eggs in one client basket.
Exactly. One contributor said relying on a single client for months feels just like being unemployed if they suddenly leave.
Oof, yeah.
Whack.
There.
So the strong advice is always aim for at least one other client, even if it's small, part-time. Spread that risk, keep the momentum going.
And some folks take it even further, right? Investing.
Yeah, absolutely. Using your freelance income to generate more income, passive income, or just other earnings. We saw examples on Reddit like investing in properties, setting up small side businesses.
Like what?
One person mentioned a school supplies business. Another had a soda and shake stand. Things that build tangible, different kinds of security.
Okay, so finances are key. What's the next pillar?
Skills. Skill development and adaptability. This is huge.
Especially now with AI and everything changing so fast.
Exactly. The market is shifting rapidly. You have to keep upskilling to stay relevant. The advice we saw was kind of twofold. Widen your skill set with related parallel skills,
Okay.
but also really deepen your expertise in one or two core areas. Become the go-to person for something specific.
So broad and deep.
Kind of, yeah. It's like that old survival of the fittest idea, but for the job market. New jobs pop up, old ones vanish. Adaptability gives you that long-term edge.
You're not just reacting, you're prepared.
Exactly. You're proactive about your future value.
All right, let's shift gears slightly and talk client management and marketing. That Zapier success story had some really concrete stuff here.
It really did.
First point they made, raising your rates. Seems obvious, but maybe it's not.
Well, it's the fastest way to boost income and, crucially, avoid burnout from juggling too many low-paying projects. It's just standard practice for any growing business.
Right.
The Zapier author gave a great example. She actually cut the number of assignments she did for one client by half.
Risky.
But she negotiated a higher per-piece rate. So less work for them, but more income per piece. And critically, it freed up her time to find new, better-paying clients.
Smart. Which leads to the next point, I guess.
Yeah.
Dropping lower-paying clients.
Strategically, yes. As you grow, as your rates go up, some clients just won't keep pace. You have to make room for the clients who value you at your new level.
So you might reduce the work you do for them, or eventually.
Eventually part ways, yeah. It's about capacity management for higher value work.
Makes sense. And for income consistency, the focus should be on...
Regular, long-term clients. Absolutely.
Why is that so much better than one-off projects?
Well, for one, you get to really understand their business deeply, which means you can provide more value over time. It's also just way more efficient. Less time spent on onboarding proposals, getting up to speed.
But then clients probably like it too, right?
Right.
Less hassle finding someone new all the time.
Exactly. It saves them time and effort as well. It's a win-win.
Okay, another big piece of advice from Zapier was specializing. Niching down.
Oh, yeah, this is a powerful one. When you specialize, you build real expertise. You build a reputation in that niche.
Which makes marketing easier.
Way easier. And it justifies higher rates. The author, she specialized in long-form content, specifically for B2B SaaS, tech, and the future of work.
Very specific.
Very. And the result? Her ideal clients started seeking her out. That's the dream, right? Not constantly chasing leads.
Definitely. Now, connected to rates and specialization is this idea of value-based pricing. Can you break that down? How's it different from charging by the hour or word?
Sure. Instead of just counting words or hours, you quote a project rate based on the value that deliverable brings to the client.
Okay, give me an example.
All right, say you're writing an ebook for a client. If that ebook is going to realistically generate, say, thousands of dollars in leads for them, your price should reflect a portion of that significant value you're creating.
Ah, I see. So it's tied to their business outcome.
Exactly. It rewards your expertise and your efficiency. If you're fast and good, you shouldn't be penalized by an hourly rate. Plus, psychologically, it's often easier for a client to approve a fixed project fee tied to a clear result rather than a high hourly rate where they might worry about how long things are taking.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you've got the mindset, the skills, the pricing, but you still need clients. How do you find them consistently?
Consistent marketing. Non-negotiable. You need to build a pipeline, a referral engine. Zapier had some great practical tactics.
Like LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is huge. You can search for companies in your target niche, filter by size, funding, find the right people. But here's a clever tactic they mentioned.
Ooh, tell me.
Search for full-time job listings in your field. Then, cold email the hiring manager,
Offering.
offering freelance support while they're searching or onboarding. You're hitting them right when they have a proven immediate need.
That is sneaky smart. Okay, what else?
Don't forget the basics. Follow up. Regularly ping past clients, just stay on their radar.
Yeah, simple but effective.
And use your network. Tell friends. Post on your socials. Referrals are incredibly powerful and often lead to the best clients.
True. What about groups?
Professional groups can be good, yeah. But you need to be selective. Find groups where people actually add value, not just spam low-paying gigs. Participate. Be helpful.
And networking events. Conferences.
Those are more of a long game. Great for building relationships, but you have to follow up consistently afterwards to turn those connections into actual work.
Got it. Okay, we've covered mindset, finances, skills, getting clients.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something fundamental. The contract. Easy Staff really emphasized this.
Absolutely. The freelance contract, it's the cornerstone of professionalism, really. It benefits both you and the client.
How so?
Well, a good contract provides clarity. It motivates everyone to stick to the plan. It clearly defines the scope of work, documents any expenses, prevents obligations from just falling through the cracks.
So it avoids misunderstandings.
Exactly. And ultimately, it just makes the whole process smoother. Acceptance of work, getting paid. It sets clear expectations and boundaries right from the start.
And there's a crucial tax point here too, right?
Yes, super important to understand. As a freelancer, you're your own business. The client company does not pay the usual employee taxes on your earnings.
So you are responsible for your own income tax.
Correct. You pay income tax as a self-employed individual. Got to factor that into your rates and savings.
Okay, so what absolutely needs to be in a solid freelance contract? Easy Staff broke it down, right?
They did. Think of it in maybe 4 main buckets to keep it simple. First, you need the scope of work nailed down.
Meaning exactly what you'll do.
Exactly. What are the specific tasks? How do you handle extra tasks that come up? What materials will the client provide? Who's your main point of contact? It just manages expectations clearly.
Okay, scope, bucket 2.
Financial protections. How are you getting paid? Where does the money go? Clear cost breakdown, payment schedule. This ensures you get paid fairly and on time.
Makes sense. Bucket 3.
Intellectual property and confidentiality. This is critical. When does the client actually own the rights to the work you create? What information is confidential? And importantly, when can you showcase the work in your portfolio?
Protects your work and your brand.
Exactly. And finally, bucket 4, dispute resolution and termination.
The what if things go wrong part.
Pretty much. Who's liable for errors?
Mm.
How are payments handled if there are delays? What's the process if you disagree, hopefully resolving it amicably first?
Right.
And it also covers how long the project lasts and the conditions for ending the partnership, including how you get paid for work done if it ends early.
That sounds comprehensive.
Yeah.
Did Easy Staff mention how clients look at freelancer costs?
Yeah, that was interesting. They don't just glance at your rate. They'll often double-check claims you make. They scrutinize the pricing. Does it match the value? They even look at how fast you respond sometimes as a sign of reliability.
Ah, okay.
And when they evaluate your price, they're comparing your experience to others, looking at the whole project value, not just the hourly rate, and crucially, thinking about the profit or benefit they expect to get from your work.
So it all comes back to value again.
It really does.
Okay, so bringing this all together for you, our listener. Freelancing, yeah, it has its uncertainties. That's clear.
But it also offers incredible freedom, autonomy, flexibility.
Right. So the key isn't trying to magically eliminate the uncertainty.
No, that's impossible. It's about building a solid framework, financial skills, client management, contracts that lets you navigate it, lets you thrive within it.
Turning that anxiety into a sense of control, of opportunity.
Exactly. Which leads to maybe a final thought.
Go for it.
What does security really mean to you in this rapidly changing world we're in? Is it the old idea of a traditional job, the perceived steady paycheck, the benefits? Or is it the resilience you build yourself, the adaptability, the diverse safety nets, financial and skill base that you create in this freelance economy? How might taking that personal ownership, that business owner mindset, how might that redefine what your future looks like?